What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I edit this 2020 Toyota Supra. Now, I took this photo a few months back, maybe early in the summertime, and it belongs to a good friend of mine. We've actually done a few shoots together, and real cool guy, real awesome build. I'll leave a link to his profile down below. Be sure to check him out, support the build. And as well, I'll leave my own down there so you can see the rest of the photos from the shoot. So first things first, let's go ahead and tell you what I use to shoot these pictures. I use the Canon 80D as my camera, and in this particular shot I use the Sigma 85mm 1.4 lens. It's a great lens. If you don't have it or haven't seen it, used it, go ahead, rent it out, try it out. You will not be disappointed. It's an amazing lens. Now, I'll go ahead and show you guys a little before. This is what we were working with. I know the dynamic range of the camera, so I was totally cool with this shot, and I knew I could bring it back. And a lot of times, a lot of the shots I take will end up like this, but you see the before and the afterwards. You're probably thinking, hey, how'd you get there? Well, here's what we do. As you can see, the exposure was pretty high, so I lowered that down. Right down to about -0.7, just to darken it up overall. And when I lower exposure, I usually bring down contrast just a little bit. Not necessarily to the point of matching the exposure, but just a little bit more down. After that, I like to adjust highlights. So you can see on the hood, windows, all the curves of the car especially, you will see that it's very overexposed, the highlights are bright. So I'll bring those down and you'll see how much gets brought back. I shoot in RAW, so that's what I recommend you guys do. You'll see a lot more detail come out of the photos when you do shoot RAW. As per JPEG, if you're not familiar with the differences, I would check out some YouTube videos. They'll be able to explain it to you. But highly recommend shooting in RAW. You will definitely have an easier time editing and bringing back all those details. Now, speaking of details, if you look at the grille and the wheels, stuff like that, you'll see how much of a difference it makes. When I adjust the shadows, you can see all this detail comes back, especially up top. All of it comes back. So that's what really makes the car pop out, makes the background, look a little bit brighter, so it's not super dark. And then what I do after that is I'll crush the blacks. Not really crush them, but I'll bring them down a bit. And you can see how we still keep some of the detail, but it's a little bit darker. So adds for a lot more of a moody shot. And if you want to get a shot like this, where it is kind of darker, you're going to want to lower the saturation. Saturation's pretty good for the most part, but this is mainly for like these kind of style shots. So as you can see before, very bright greens, the reds, yellows, oranges, stuff like that. You're going to want to go ahead and lower those. And you'll see it kind of brings it down more like a matte look. Once the saturation's down, I will bring the colors back one by one, or whichever ones I want back. For example, the reds. You see the reds on the caliper, center caps, a little bit on the valve stem here. What I did is, this is before and then afterwards, so that way they make them pop a little bit. So I didn't want the whole picture to pop, I just wanted the reds. And as you can see, the only reds that are here is right in those areas. So it worked out perfect. Then I'll go ahead and lower the luminance just to give it a more deep look to it. See, like that, right there. And I think it looks pretty good. What I should have said before is make sure your picture is level, because if it's not level, then I've seen it before where you have a really good shot, but it's slightly crooked to one side or the other. Now this one was kind of a pain to really get for me. I don't think the auto leveling was working correctly, or not. It wasn't really picking it up. So I went ahead and did it myself. So I think it looks pretty straight. But yeah, you're gonna want to make sure that your photo is nice and straight. After that, what I do is I went ahead with the brush tool and I filled in the headlights and the lower grille area as well as the tires, just to bring out some of the detail with the shadows. The headlights, what I like to do is make them a little bit darker, so that way it makes it easier to see. You know, it's not so like all blurred out. Lower the blacks, a little bit of contrast, and add some clarity to give it the nice like crystal look to them, so you can see it's nice and clear. After that, I'll use the linear filter. I usually use this to darken the bottoms, either the bottoms or the top. In this case, the top was kind of dark already. I like to use them to really attract attention to the subject I'm focusing on. So in this case, the car, I like to lower the exposure on the ground. That way it kind of acts as like it's pointing you towards the center. This is a little bit brighter, everything's a little bit brighter up here, and around it's nice and dark, without being too dark. So what I did for the rest of it to get it darker around is I use the radial filter, and that way I can lower the exposure there. You know, just not too much. You can see the difference, you know, a little bit goes a long way. Just like that. So that way it gives it a whole different, you know, look to the picture. And sometimes you can even use it to, you know, erase some of the shadows and really only affect the edges. It really helps. If you don't use those filters, I really recommend giving them a shot. It'll really help you. So once we bring the colors back that we want, and we get rid of some of the colors that we don't want, what you want to do, or what I do, is I go down and I start adjusting the sharpening. I don't usually go more than 70 or 80. It's just, you know, just what I like to do. If you have a Windows PC, I'm not sure if it's Command or what it is on Apples or Macs, hold down the Alt key and adjust the masking, and you'll see this screen pop up, and it'll allow you to see what you're sharpening. So in this case, I want to sharpen a lot of the edges. You can see, you know, around the lights and all that, and then it'll give it nice and sharp lines, just a lot clearer of an image. Then I'll add a little bit of noise reduction, not too much. I usually stick around 20, 25, depending on the picture I'm doing. Usually it's around there. I'll go ahead and do some chromatic aberration removal. After that, give it a nice little once over. Make sure I didn't miss anything, all the little details here and there. And everything looks pretty good. I could probably lower this a little bit. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to post the link to his Instagram down below, or I may even put it on the screen right here. I am still new to these kind of videos, and I'm really trying to, you know, make an effort to make them better for you guys. So if you have any suggestions, anything you want to see. Also, I really want to start doing behind the scenes content of like when I actually go and do these shoots. So if that's something you guys want to see, leave a comment down below, send me a message, find me on Instagram. I like taking pictures, and I really want to get into video. That's what I'm working on now, and I figured this would be a pretty good start to explain to you guys my process and what I use. Now, it changes a lot. You can see from like my older pictures, my style really fluctuates. So sometimes I'll do certain things and sometimes I won't. Really all depends. Again, it's all part of the learning process. You know, I haven't been doing this a very long time, and it's just, you know, part of what I would like to learn. If you want to see the rest of the photos from this shoot, check out my Instagram, 6Speed Media. You'll see my most recent photos, the ones of the Supra, this one specifically. So go ahead, check it out. I will link his and mine down below. And again, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.